Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for taking this time to join us in our newest Lunch and Learn. My name is Joe Rodriguez. I'm a software developer and member of the Job City HR department. It's really nice to have so many people here are passionate
Hey,
about
good
technology
afternoon,
and
everybody.
interested in this
Thank you
topic.
for taking this time to join
Talking about
us
this
in our
topic, let me introduce you
newest
to
Lunch and
Oscar.
Learn. My
He's
name
a
is Joe
awesome
Rodriguez.
and
I'm
very
a
skilled
software
developer
developer
and
and
he's
member of
working
the.
from Guayaquil, Ecuador. Now, please welcome Oscar, who is going to talk about today Webpack for fast WordPress template development.
Thank you so much, Edward. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this Lunch and Learn. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for joining me. Today, we will be discussing how to use Webpack as an asset bundler to develop WordPress templates, or themes as we call it, in a faster, maintainable, and scalable way. Okay, so what is Webpack? At its core, Webpack is a static module bundler for modern JavaScript applications. So what does that mean? That means when you code this process by Webpack, it bundles all your modules into a single static asset, or for whatever configuration you need. Now let's see a brief history on Webpack. Webpack was born on February 2014. So yeah, as now, Webpack is 8. Webpack comes as an option to Chrome, Gold, or Reserify, and other competitors in the market. Okay, that's very cool, but why? So, okay, that's so cool and all. But why do I need that? What's wrong with all plain JavaScript, CSS to build up my theme? There's nothing wrong with that. That's perfectly fine. But why not supercharge your theme development and make it super cool, super scalable, super modular, and hey, super sexy? So the main logic behind all this, besides making your life miserable as a developer, of course, is to keep your template set up in a way that you can update it easier without struggling through lots of lines of code. Also keep performance supercharged and keep everything tidy and modular. So what are the main advantages of using Webpack? There are some. Once you get it flying, it's forget about it. Development is faster. You can set up your code in separate modules, which is more organized, instead of having one large JS or CSS never-ending file. Code output can get so much better thanks to the tools we have within Webpack. Also, code is easier to maintain because everything is separated into modules or folders or whatever suits you, and also a lot easier to scale. Webpack has the ability to split code when needed on demand. And very importantly, code is minified, compressed, and production ready. Yeah, well, there's a catch. Good things don't come for free. There are some main advantages when using Webpack. When you're a newbie, it's very hard to understand. It takes a while to learn it and master it. Although there's a lot of documentation, at some points the author assumes that you already know this stuff, so it's hard to navigate. And at the beginning, it's very frustrating because at first some things don't work, and well, later on they don't work either. But hey, keep the faith, you'll get there. Let me show you briefly how does it work. So how does Webpack works? Let me show you. What happens basically is that all your modular code, SAS, JS, images, HTML, and whatnot, it's processed by Webpack and bundled into static assets ready for the browser to consume. The main difference, instead of making a lot of codes for each asset, you just get one single code for every asset. So that means one for JavaScript, one for CSS. This makes this process truly efficient. So in essence, yeah, feels much like baking. Eggs, flour, water, milk, butter, and some sugar, and you have a nice, really delicious cake. Now let's see the differences between working in a traditional way, so to speak, versus using Webpack or any other bundler in the market. In traditional theme development, we use structures like a QA script or a QA style for every new asset we can think of. So if our theme is broken up in different sections or modules, we usually add this command for every single asset, which leads to bloating and excessive assets loading. This, as you can imagine, makes the page slow and inefficient. On the other hand, when using Webpack, everything is bundled for us and assets are ready to go. And we can keep it very modular behind the scenes, but deliver a single asset for the browser. We use a single and queue instruction for every asset. This means one for CSS and one for JS. No need to bloat the site. Other differences? Yeah, in the traditional way, you definitely need plugins to compress and minify. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. But that optimization happens in runtime, and it is very slow. You need cache plugins and configure them correctly, which can lead to time consuming. And if you do not configure these plugins properly, guess what? Guess what? You may break the site. With Webpack, you can keep your site clean from optimization plugins. Remember, the least plugins you use, the better. Your code is production ready from the get-go, so you do not need to worry about this. And as a plus, you can go bananas using ES6, React, and Vue if you feel funky enough. Webpack will make sure your code is compatible with major browsers in the market. To understand a bit of Webpack, let's dive into its main concepts. I'll speed this up so you don't fall asleep. I know you guys are having lunch. So what are the main concepts in Webpack? An entry point. Indicate which module Webpack should use to begin building its internal dependency graph. In other words, these are the files you write and the files you feed Webpack for processing. Output. This property tells Webpack where to emit the bundles and how these files are named. These are the files that will be used by our final log. This is what Webpack processed. Loaders. As a default, Webpack only understands JavaScript, but loaders allow Webpack to process other types of files and convert them into modules that can be consumed by our application. So with this, we can understand, Webpack can understand HTML, CSS, and whatnot. Plugins. Plugins are the backbone of Webpack. Webpack itself is built on the same plugin system that you use in your Webpack configuration. They also do whatever a loader cannot do. For example, Babel is a plugin that transpiles and translates your ES6 code into understandable JS for all new and legacy browsers. Mode. Webpack has three basic modes: development, production, or not. So you can work totally fail-safe. Browser compatibility. All ES5 compliant browsers are supported. Internet Explorer 8 and below are not, although if you need to, you can do some magic and make it run. There are some dependencies in the next demo that we will use. Not going to explain them all, but worth noting. Babel, or cool JavaScript compiler. Browser syncs. We load the browser automatically while we work. CSS loader, well, it loads CSS code. Uglify.js, our minifier. Sass loader help us with Sass translation to CSS, and of course, Webpack. So, okay, how do we call these assets once they are processed by Webpack? Well, it's very easy. Once you have set up Webpack and you have all your code ready to go, this lines of code will integrate it into Wordpress. Okay, now let's see a small demo, how we can configure Webpack and how we can easily configure WordPress and make it happen. Okay, so basically, the first thing we need to look at is our JSON file. For demo purposes, I'm not going to install all the dependencies now. Hope you understand, but let's see. So basically, we have a big package JSON, which tell us which dependencies are the ones we're using. So like I spoke a bit earlier, we have Babel, CSS loader, this track plugin, no Sass loader, Uglify, Webpack. And we also have browser sync and CSS mini size. On the other hand, we have two production files. One is Webpack dev.js, is the one we're going to use in our development mode. So basically what this has is this calls for the plugins we're going to use. And how we're going to use them. And also I have Webpack prod.js, which is basically the one responsible for our production code. So what I'm saying is, with Webpack dev, we develop, and with Webpack production, we output our final code. Okay, so let's start setting this up a bit. So right here, I need to configure my scripts. I'll configure right now our entry points, which come here. Okay, let's do the entry with our path result. Div name, location of the file we're going to feed to Webpack. Okay, that's pretty cool. So as you see, I have this set up here. This is my app.js file. Now, let's configure our output. Bear with me a little. Please don't despair. Almost there. Now, we need the path, also path result. This is where Webpack is gonna throw all the bundles, all the final code that I need for production. And my file name is sorry, missing a variable here. Okay, that should do it. Okay, now my entry point is configured and my output as well. Please note that as we already spoke about it, as Webpack doesn't understand other file type than JavaScript, I'm using this here. And through our plugins that are here, right, I'm telling him what to do once I get the CSS or SAS loaders. Okay, cool. That looked cool. Now let's keep on going. Let's right now set up the Browserify plugin that I need. So let's create the bar here. Const new browser sync. Okay, bear with me. Okay, now I have the variable ready. Now let's require the plugin, which is browser sync plugin. Thank you, Visual Code. Okay, there it is. Now let's set it up. Now I go to the plugins array and let's set it up here. I have to create a new object. Browser sync plugin. Actually, this is kind of tricky because at first it takes a while to understand how this works. So let's tell him to watch all the files that I have in my theme. This is the format I'm using. Now let's tell what host to listen to. I'm using Code Anywhere, so I have to use their host. It's a bit long. Please bear with me. Don't fall asleep. Okay, learn hello. These are kind of hard. Of course, if you are using local environment, this will be very easy because you just use local hosts and that will do it. Just for developer purposes and making it easier, I chose Code Anywhere. Now let's tell it that let's go external. Port, you can put whatever port you want here. Just make sure in your local environment that it's open. And let's proxy this to, let's just copy and paste this so we don't have to go through the pain of writing it again. Just make sure it's correct. Give me a minute. Okay, everything looks great. Okay, I'm missing a name here. Okay, excellent. I think I'm missing something, but I'm not sure where. Okay, let's save this. Now, somewhere, I need to make sure that the scripts watch and build are summoned. Okay, let's go to the package JSON where I need them. This is very important to do. Otherwise, Webpack would not know what to do. So let's add the scripts. Hold on. And let's configure the watch command. Watch Webpack. Right now, I'm telling you that you should call Webpack with the command watch. And let's configure the sort maps. This is a bit tricky. And source maps. Okay. And now I tell her where I need what's the script I want. Okay, so now let's take a look. I'm telling this command that you should run Webpack and watch. I'm loading the source maps, and my config is this file. Okay, cool. Which is the file that I saw a bit earlier, and that I also have ready to go. Now let's configure the build command, which is also important. This is the one that I will be creating all the assets for production. So this is a bit easier because I don't need that much stuff. I just need to tell the command where the production is, the production file is. Okay, this should do it. Let's save this. Now let's take one last look, make sure everything is working fine. The code is sound. Give me a minute, please. Okay, everything looks fine so far. Okay, it works fine. It looks fine so far. So let's keep going. So, okay, this will take care of, if I run this command, these files will be generated. But WordPress does not know where to get them. So let's go to the functions file and remember what we saw in the presentation. Now let's add that. So let's add a function. This is PHP. Just call it theme earlier. You can call it whatever you want. Doesn't matter. Now let's call. Let's include some fonts. Already have this, but let's include the other. This is my style. One I just made. I'm going to tell him that is CSS. A directory. But this WordPress knows where to go. And okay. Now I have to tell them where it should find the files. Remember, these are the files that Webpack builds. This is what it outputs. So it's very important that names are fine. Otherwise, it would not load anything. Okay, so this includes the style. Let's see, get template directory URI. It's fine. and I have the current route. So what I'm looking for is in my assets, in my final folder, is to get this, which is empty because I have nothing yet. I have nothing really for the CSS. Now let's include some stuff, some scripts. Let's see, include scripts. CJS. Also, same stuff. Let's just copy and paste this thing so we don't fall asleep. I'm going to tell them the route. So right here, I'm going to use the one I have ready, which is bundle min. Also, it's empty because I have nothing. So again, assets, JS, min, JS, operation. Okay, that should trick. Okay, now I need the action. Let's add the action, add action. The action is WP and this word is so hard to write. Scripts, and I pass the function that I just, which is single. Okay, it should do it. Let's just have a quick look. Just save this. Everything looks great. So I'm loading a font, which just for demo purposes, I'm using Google fonts. But this or not, this are mine. And we're going to start building this in a bit. So this should work. Let's give it a go. I have my terminal ready here. So let's see if I didn't break anything and run the launch. Okay, so everything is good to go. Everything is ready. Browser sync is connected. Feel so relieved because I thought I was going to break it. But what's happening with this? This is not looking good. So yeah, the main issue is that I have no styles on the page. So, but as you see, I have just one asset loading and for CSS and one asset for the bundle. So let's write some CSS and try to make this look cool. Okay, so let's start. So I have my app CSS. Remember that I showed you a bit ago? And this is called in the app.js, right? There are other ways to do it better, but just for demo purposes, for demo sake, let's just go with this for now. Okay, so I have this that is completely empty, and I could start writing some code just for, again, for demo sake. I already wrote some stuff, so let's just start importing here, and let's see how browser sync helps me out with development. The first thing I'm going to do is import the colors. Thank you, Visual Studio. And let's import a reset, CSS reset that I already have. So if I save this, browser sync is going to kick in. It's going to show me the changes in real time. It's pretty cool. Okay, so now I see that everything is resetted. And if I take a look at the style, see, something's happening. Hey, wait, it's not minified. Yeah, it's not minified because I'm not minifying in my development log. So if I can debug something, it's easier to look than in the minified version. Okay, let's go back. So I have this main file, that has the main style for this small project I'm building. Let's just import it as well. Give me a second. Again, thank you, Visual Studio. So when I save this, I'm going to start looking at some changes. So now I see that the title, the headline has some styles. There are some styles also for the paragraphs. Everything's looking better, but I'm missing the navigation. I already built the navigation, so it doesn't take that long. This is for SAS, nothing fancy. But let's import it and see what happens. And let's just use navigation. Okay, now everything changes, and I'm seeing that navigation is working. Just open this up a little. I hope you guys can see everything correctly. Okay, everything is working fine. And now I'm missing the footer. Footer is looking awful. Okay, let's import it as well. Import it. Sorry about that. I forgot about the SAS folder. And now I see in library level that I have a footer as well, which is so cool. I have, if you can see that there's an images. So what is that exactly? Just a very simple routine to make this image a bit better. Let's just add it now. See how it behaves. Images. Okay. What this basically does is adds a bit of border and make sure this image is 100%, so it's sort of responsive. Everything looks cool. Well, I guess we've made a lot of progress from here to there. I think it looks very cool. Okay, so now let's see. I think this red is very bright. Let's change it up a little bit. Since I have everything modular and in SAS with variables, I can just change this color to whatever I like. But just note, if you're using a red variable, make sure your color is red. Okay, now it kicks in. Looks very cool. Now let's see how the other page behaves, how the other pages behave, sorry. I have some other here. I'm not gonna write all this CSS because it will take forever. And I don't want you guys to fall asleep. I don't want to fall asleep either. But, oh, sorry, something broke up. Let's try that again. Oh, not working, sorry. Okay, but let's just say that in my main, I have these two that are missing. That is H5 and H6. So I can go to main and add them. I don't have them here, so let's add them real quick. So H5 will be font size 1.5. And let's just copy and paste this stuff. So doesn't take forever. And let's just add one here. Yeah, reload is not going to work here because, oh, okay, the port was wrong. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, so now I see them. Like maybe this is too small. Maybe add 1.2. And just make this color If I have any cool colors here, I don't. They use red as well. So there, now I see library loading and everything is working perfectly. Everything is working fine. Um, Now let's look at the style name again. So it's not minified, it's not compressed, it's not production ready. That's okay for now. So we're not going to use JavaScript in this demo per se, but let's add some just for fun. So I'm going to go to my app.js right now, and I have this jQuery library that I downloaded. It is not production ready because I downloaded on purpose without being minified or anything. I just want to show you how Uglify.js minifies this and takes care of the whole thing. So give me a minute. Here on the, I'm going to import jQuery. Let's import the file. Please remember, sorry, that this is empty. Hold on, import hello.js again, and let's import jQuery. Okay, so this should do it. Sorry for the typos. So it's going to take a while when the reload catches on, but let's look at my bundle again. So here is my bundle with the JavaScript library installed and totally minified. So right here, let's look at the code. Instead of me calling, let's make this a bit bigger. So instead of me calling one library for JavaScript, and maybe if you have a Slick or whatever other library you need, instead of calling each one separately, you just do it using Webpack and bundling into one. So here you see I have this style name, which is not production ready yet. Sorry. And also I have the bundle name. It's not the right position, but that's a WordPress issue. We can take care of that later, which is completely minified and production ready. So our goal is basically complete. Now, everything is working. Browser sync is working. It's working fine. It looks fine. Let's go back to the main page. Now, how do I set up everything so everything is production ready? Okay, let's just stop and watch. Let's just say I'm just finished with my project. Everything is working perfectly. Now, let's just run the npm. And that should do it. Let's just wait a bit till it does everything. So please remember, this is how modular works. We have all our SAS files in modules. We could do the same with JavaScript. We could separate it in folders and in files and then import it. And in this case, how I have it configured, I'll tell Webpack, hey, just bundle everything into one single file. This, for time's sake, I was not able to do it in this demo, but also Webpack supports that it can load files on demand when you need them. Say, if you have a section that uses certain files and they're not used anywhere on the site, you can load them just to that section. Okay, let's take a look at our style CSS. See, now it is perfectly compressed and production ready. And also I can take a look here. Let's just say this is the final site. And if I look at the minified version, there. Also, if I look at the bundle, it's there with the JavaScript, with the jQuery library. And that is it. Now I'm good to go. Okay, so that was rough. I hope you guys didn't get dizzy or sleepy. Thank you so much. Okay, so there are some conclusions that we can achieve after this. So after this short journey, we can conclude the following. If you have a big project that is in constant evolution, a bundle like Webpack will make your life easier in the long run. I mean, it's worth the effort at the beginning when you set it up. The final product is better, it's maintainable, it's scalable. Maybe not worth it for small projects. If you have a small website that doesn't get maintained a lot, doesn't get updated, maybe Webpack or any other bundler is too much. You can brag with your friends how cool you are because you use tools like Webpack in your site development. And well, we don't make the world better, but we definitely make the web better when we produce high quality code. And clients will appreciate this as their websites and businesses perform better. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for putting up with me. I truly appreciate your time and attention. You're the best.
Thank you, Oscar, for your presentation. It was awesome, and thank you for all the people who joined. It was a really good experience for us. So let's see if we have any questions in the chat. So far, we don't have any, so don't be shy. Ask if you want. In the meantime, I just have a question. So have you ever configured Webpack together with Tailwind? Tailwind is
No,
the
I have not
other.
done that with Tailwind CSS. I have not done that yet, but I'm pretty sure you can integrate them. Yeah, honestly, I have not done that yet.
Yeah, but we can say that it's pretty agnostic from the any tool that you
Yeah,
want to
because
use.
like in the presentation, you can look for loader or you can look for a plugin that does it. Like for instance, in my research doing this, I found that it was compatible with Post CSS. So I would pretty much say, yeah, that you can do it without hassle.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. So yeah, seems that we don't have any further questions. So thank you again, Oscar. It was
Thank you
a
so
really
much
nice
for having me.
presentation.
Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be here. And well, I hope in the future we can do some other stuff that's more fun.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
guys. Have a great
Thank
lunch.
you everyone for being here and have this lunch. Bon appetit.